The rumors didn't just start, they exploded. 1 minute, everything seemed quiet in the world of Lil Scrappy, and the next, chaos. A blurry photo, a cryptic caption, and a woman in white standing beside him that no one recognized. Fans froze. Then they spiraled. Because what they thought they saw couldn't possibly be real. Right. But it was. Behind closed doors, whispers began to turn into confirmations. Lil Scrappy had allegedly gotten married secretly. No announcement, no warning, no ring reveal. Just a quiet ceremony that somehow slipped past even the most loyal followers. And the question that sent shockwaves through social media wasn't just who is she? It was what about Erica? Because Erica Dixon wasn't just any ex. She was history. She was family. She was the woman fans believed would always have a piece of Scrappy's heart. And when news of this alleged marriage reached her, everything changed. Within minutes, Erica went live. Her face, calm. Too calm. Her eyes, telling a completely different story. Thousands flooded into the stream as comments poured in faster than anyone could read. Is it true? Did he really do that? Say something, Erica. And then she did. What started as silence turned into something else, entirely something raw. Something emotional. Something that fans are now calling the moment everything fell apart. Because this isn't just about a secret wedding. It's about betrayal. It's about loyalty. And it's about what happens when the truth finally comes out. Live, unfiltered, and impossible to ignore. The moment Erica Dixon hit that live button, the energy shifted in a way nobody was ready for. Thousands turned into tens of thousands within seconds. Fans were shocked. Comments flooding in so fast it looked like a storm of words crashing across the screen. But Erica didn't speak right away. She just stared, her lips pressed together, her jaw tight, her eyes scanning something off camera like she was trying to hold herself together before everything spilled out. And that silence, it was louder than anything she could have said. People started panicking in the comments. Say something? Is it true? Did Lil Scrappy really get married? And then finally, Erica let out a slow breath, shaking her head like she couldn't believe what she was about to confirm. Y'all really want to know? She said, her voice low but sharp. Or y'all just here for entertainment? That one line sent the chat into chaos. Because this wasn't just gossip anymore. This was personal. Erica leaned closer to the camera, her expression shifting from controlled to something more raw. I woke up this morning just like everybody else, and found out the same way y'all did. She paused, letting that sink in. Online, fans were stunned. Emotions ran high instantly, because if Erica found out through social media, that meant one thing: she wasn't told. And that's when the tone of the entire situation changed. Don't play with me, she continued, her voice rising slightly. Don't ever play with me like I'm just some random. We got history, we got a child together. The comment section exploded again, people tagging friends, posting crying emojis, shouting this is messy, over and over. The family was left divided, even in the audience, with some defending Scrappy and others standing firmly behind Erica. But Erica wasn't done. Y'all wanna know the craziest part? She said, laughing, but it wasn't a happy laugh. It was the kind that comes right before tears. I had to hear from somebody else that he was getting married. Not even from him, from somebody else. She shook her head again, looking off to the side like she was replaying the moment in her mind. That's disrespect. That's beyond disrespect. Meanwhile, across social media, clips of that blurry wedding photo were spreading like wildfire. Fans zooming in, trying to identify the mystery woman standing beside Scrappy. Some claimed they recognized her. Others said she had been around longer than people realized. Rumors started stacking on top of each other so fast it was impossible to separate truth from speculation. And then, something unexpected happened. Erica's phone buzzed. On live. Her eyes dropped down for a split second, and whatever she saw, it changed everything. She froze. The comments noticed instantly. Who texting? Is that him? Answer it. Erica hesitated, then slowly looked back up at the camera. Y'all see this, right? She said, holding up her phone just enough for people to know it was real, but not enough to read the screen. Now you wanna reach out. Fans were screaming in the chat, because it didn't take a genius to figure out who was on the other end. No, she said firmly, placing the phone down. We not doing that. You had time. You had years. That word hit hard. Years. Because what Erica was hinting at wasn't just about a secret marriage. It was about everything leading up to it. The history, the breakups, the reconciliations, the promises that were made and apparently broken. Y'all don't even know half of what really goes on, she continued, her voice dropping again. Everybody see the highlights. Nobody see the behind the scenes. And just like that, the the narrative shifted again. Because now, fans weren't just focused on the wedding. They were wondering what Erica knew, and what she was about to reveal. I kept quiet for a long time, she said, for the sake of peace. For my daughter. For everything. She leaned back slightly, crossing her arms. But don't let this calm face fool you. I'm hurt. Yeah. I said it. I'm hurt. That honesty hit differently. Fans were shocked at how real it was getting. No filters. No pretending. Just raw emotions spilling out in real time. But before anyone could even process that moment, the situation took another turn. Because elsewhere, Lil Scrappy was starting to feel the pressure. His name was trending. Blogs were posting nonstop. And people close to him were allegedly reaching out, telling him that Erica's live was gaining traction fast. And according to whispers, he wasn't happy about it. Back on the stream, Erica's energy shifted again. Like she could sense everything happening behind the scenes. Now everybody wanna call me, she said, her tone almost sarcastic. Now, everybody wanna check on me. She rolled her eyes. Where was all that before? Fans were eating it up. The drama, the tension, the unanswered questions. It was all building into something bigger than anyone expected. And then, Erica leaned forward one more time, her voice dropping to almost a whisper. Y'all really think this just happened overnight? The comments slowed for a second, like people were trying to understand what she meant. She looked straight into the camera. This didn't start today, she said. This been going on. And just like that, the story got even deeper. That one sentence hung in the air like a warning nobody was prepared for. And suddenly the chat shifted from curiosity to full-blown investigation mode. Fans were shocked, theories flying everywhere, people pulling up old clips, screenshots, past interviews, trying to connect dots that now felt like they had been there all along, hidden in plain sight, and Erica could see it happening in real time. She could feel the energy rising. Emotions ran high as she slowly nodded her head, like she had been waiting for this exact moment to finally say what she had been holding in for so long. Y'all keep thinking this about a wedding, she said quietly, her voice steady but heavy. This about patterns, and that word hit just as hard as before. Patterns, because now it wasn't just about one decision. It was about a cycle, something repeated, something familiar, something painful. She leaned back, crossing her arms again as if protecting herself while still choosing to stay vulnerable in front of thousands watching her unravel piece by piece. I've seen this before, she continued. Different situation, same behavior, and instantly fans began speculating about what exactly she meant. Some brought up past relationships, others hinted at moments from the show that suddenly felt a little too real, a little too telling, and while the internet tried to decode her words, Erica's phone buzzed again, this time longer, more persistent, and she didn't even have to look down for people to know who it was. The comments were already screaming. He calling again, answer, IT, put him on live. But Erica just shook her head slowly, her lips tightening as if she was fighting the urge to react impulsively. Nah, she said firmly. You don't get access to me like that anymore. And that line sent a wave of reactions through the audience. Because it wasn't just about ignoring a call, it was about boundaries, something fans had been begging her to set for years, and yet even as she said it, there was a flicker in her eyes, something unresolved, something that hinted this situation wasn't as clean-cut as she wanted it to be. Don't call me now because the internet talking, she added, her voice rising slightly. You should have thought about that before you made moves in the dark. And there it was again. Another clue, another layer. Moves in the dark, meaning secrecy, meaning planning, meaning this wasn't spontaneous at all. And the more she spoke, the clearer it became that this so-called secret marriage might not have been so secret to everyone, just hidden from the people who mattered most. And fans were starting to feel that betrayal secondhand, flooding the chat with messages of support, anger, disbelief, some even tagging Lil Scrappy directly, demanding answers, demanding accountability. But Erica wasn't done, not even close, because something in her had shifted, something had cracked open, and now it wasn't going back. Y'all wanna know when I first heard her name? She asked suddenly, tilting her head slightly as if challenging the audience to keep up. And just like that, the comments slowed again. Anticipation building. People leaning into their screens waiting for whatever she was about to drop next. Months ago, she said, her tone almost calm again but with an edge underneath. And when I asked about it, I got lied to. And that confession sent another shockwave through the viewers. Fans were shocked all over again, because now it wasn't just about secrecy. It was about deception, direct and intentional. And Erica let that sit for a moment, letting the weight of it sink in before continuing. Don't ever make me feel crazy for asking the right questions, she said, her eyes narrowing slightly, because I always know when something off. And the confidence in her voice was undeniable. But so was the hurt, the kind that lingers long after the moment passes. And as she spoke, more pieces started falling into place for the audience. The timeline, the distance, the subtle shifts that maybe didn't make sense before but now felt painfully obvious. I ignored my intuition once, she admitted. I won't do it again. And that line resonated deeply. Fans flooding the comments with messages like "Yes, Erica," and "Know your worth." The energy turning from shock to empowerment in seconds. But just when it seemed like Erica was regaining control of the narrative, something unexpected happened again. Her phone buzzed for the third time. But this time it wasn't just a buzz. It was a full incoming call. And without thinking, Erica glanced down. And her entire expression changed. Her eyes widened just slightly before she quickly looked back at the camera, trying to play it off. But it was too late. Everyone noticed. Who is it? Say the name. Is it him again? The comments were relentless. And Erica hesitated, biting her lip for a split second before letting out a breath. It's not him, she said slowly. It's somebody who knows everything. And just like that, the tension skyrocketed again, because if it wasn't Scrappy, then who was it? And more importantly, what did they know? Erica looked at the phone again, clearly debating whether to answer or not, her fingers hovering for a moment before she shook her head and declined the call, placing the phone face down on the table. Not right now, she muttered, more to herself than anyone else, and fans were losing it. The mystery deepening, the stakes rising, the entire situation turning into something far more complicated than a simple secret wedding. Y'all see what I'm dealing with, she said, looking back at the camera with a mix of frustration and disbelief. This is messy. And she wasn't wrong, because at this point, it felt like every second brought a new twist, a new revelation, a new layer to unpack. And yet Erica kept going. Because now there was no turning back. I'm not even mad about the marriage, she said suddenly, her tone shifting again, softer this time, more reflective. If that's what you wanted, cool, be happy. She shrugged slightly, but don't disrespect me in the process. And that distinction mattered, because it showed that her pain wasn't about jealousy. It was about respect, about communication, about being treated like she mattered, especially given their shared history and family. And that's what made it hit even harder for viewers. Because it wasn't petty drama, it was real emotion, real disappointment, real betrayal. You don't build something with somebody for years and then just move like they don't exist, she continued, her voice cracking just slightly before she caught herself. That's not how that works. And for a brief moment, the strong exterior slipped, revealing the vulnerability underneath, and fans felt it, flooding the chat with hearts, support, and messages telling her to stay strong. But even in that moment, there was something else brewing. Something unresolved, because Erica hadn't addressed the biggest question yet, the one everyone was still asking, who is the woman? And just as it seemed like she might finally say it, she paused again, looking off to the side like she was hearing something in the room with her, her expression tightening as if whatever she heard confirmed something she already suspected. And then she turned back to the camera, her eyes sharper now, more focused, more determined. Y'all really want to know who she is? She asked slowly. And the response was immediate. Overwhelming. Thousands of comments pouring in all at once. Yes, say her name, expose it. And Erica just stared for a moment, letting the anticipation build, letting the tension stretch to its limit before she finally spoke again. The crazy part is, she began, her voice dropping to a near whisper. Some of y'all already follow her. And just like that, the entire situation exploded into something even bigger than before. Because now, it wasn't just a mystery, it was a hunt. That revelation sent the entire internet into a frenzy, fans scrambling through followers lists, digging through old tags, analyzing every woman who had ever been seen anywhere near Lil Scrappy. And the speculation became louder than the truth itself. Names started circulating, accusations flying, and Erica could see it all unfolding in real time right there on her screen, her eyes scanning the chaos as if she was watching a storm she had tried to warn everyone about finally hit. See how fast that happened, she said quietly, almost to herself. Y'all went from asking questions to tearing people apart in seconds, and for a moment it seemed like she might pull back, like she might stop the spiral before it got worse, but then her expression hardened again, because there was still too much left unsaid, too much she had been holding in. But don't get it twisted, she added, her tone sharpening. I'm not protecting anybody anymore, and that line flipped the energy once again, because now it wasn't just about hints. It sounded like she was ready to expose everything, and fans were shocked. Emotions ran high as the comments exploded with anticipation. People practically begging her to drop the name, to confirm the rumors, to give them something concrete to hold on to. But Erica wasn't moving on their timeline. She was moving on her own, dragging the moment out just enough to make sure everyone understood the weight of what was coming next. "Y'all ever been lied to so good that you almost believed it?" she asked suddenly, her voice softer now but laced with something deeper, something darker. And that question hit different because it wasn't just about Scrappy anymore. It was about trust, about manipulation, about being made to feel like you were the problem when you were actually the one being deceived. She shook her head slowly, a bitter smile crossing her face. "That's what this was," she said, "a performance." And that word lingered, performance. Because now it suggested that everything leading up to this moment had been staged in some way, controlled, curated, designed to keep her in the dark while something else was happening behind the scenes. And fans were eating it up, connecting dots, recalling moments where Scrappy seemed distant, distracted, unavailable, moments that now felt like clues instead of coincidences. "You can only play somebody for so long before it catches up," Erica continued, leaning closer to the camera again. Her eyes locked in with the audience like she was speaking directly to each person watching. And today, it caught up. And right on cue, her phone buzzed again, but this time she didn't ignore it. She picked it up slowly, staring at the screen for a few seconds before letting out a quiet laugh that didn't sound amused at all. "Oh, now this is interesting," she murmured, and instantly the comments went wild again. "Who is IT? Put IT on speaker. We need to hear this." And Erica hesitated just long enough to build the tension before she made a decision that would change everything. She answered the call, but she didn't say anything at first. She just listened, her expression unreadable as the voice on the other end spoke. And even though the audience couldn't hear what was being said, they could feel it, the shift in her posture, the way her eyes narrowed slightly, the way her lips pressed together like she was holding back a reaction. And then finally she spoke. "You got a lot of nerve," she said, her voice calm but cutting. And just from that one line, fans already knew this wasn't a friendly conversation. "No, don't do that," she continued, shaking her head. "Don't call me trying to explain now." And the word now hit hard again, because it reinforced everything she had been saying, that this wasn't sudden, that this had been building, hidden, ignored, until it couldn't be any more. She listened again for a moment before letting out another short laugh. "Happy," she repeated, her tone dripping with disbelief. "You think this about happiness?" And the tension in the room, even through the screen, was almost unbearable at this point. Fans were shocked, completely locked into every word, every reaction, every pause. Because this was happening live, unfiltered, unpredictable, and nobody knew what would happen next. "You should have thought about that before you moved the way you did," Erica said, her voice rising just slightly now, the calm beginning to crack. "Before you let me look crazy out here." And that was it. That was the line that made everything click for the audience. Because this wasn't just private pain, it was public embarrassment. It was being blindsided in front of the world, and that kind of hurt hits different. "Don't say my name," she snapped suddenly, her eyes flashing. "Don't you dare say my name like you got the right." And whatever was said on the other end must have crossed a line, because Erica's entire demeanor shifted in an instant, the controlled composure she had been holding on to finally slipping as raw emotion took over. "You married her," she said, her voice shaking now but still strong. "Stand on that," and just like that. Confirmation, not speculation, not rumor, confirmation. And the chat exploded in a way it hadn't before. People screaming, reacting, sharing the live with everyone they knew. Because this was the moment everything became real. "So don't call me acting confused about why I'm upset," she continued, her words coming faster now, sharper, fueled by everything she had been holding back. "You made your choice." And then she paused, listening one last time before shaking her head again. "No," she said firmly. "We done talking." And just like that, she ended the call, placing the phone down with a finality that echoed louder than any words could. And for a few seconds, she didn't say anything. She just sat there, breathing, collecting herself as the comments continued to pour in at an overwhelming pace. But when she finally looked back at the camera, something had changed. The hesitation was gone. The uncertainty replaced with something clearer, stronger. "Y'all wanted the truth," she said quietly. "There it is." And the simplicity of that statement hit just as hard as everything that came before it. Because now there was no mystery left about what happened. Only questions about why, about how long, about what else had been hidden beneath the surface. And Erica wasn't finished, not even close. Because now that the truth was out, there was nothing left stopping her from saying everything else. And since we being real tonight, she added, leaning forward again, her voice steady but intense, let's talk about how this really started. And just like that, the story took yet another turn, pulling everyone even deeper into the drama they thought they understood but clearly didn't. And the moment she said that, the entire atmosphere shifted again. Because now it wasn't just about reacting to what had already happened. It was about uncovering everything that led up to it. And Erica looked directly into the camera like she had finally made peace with exposing it all. Like there was no more holding back. No more protecting anyone's image. This didn't start with no wedding, she said slowly, her tone controlled but heavy. This started with lies on top of lies, and fans were shocked all over again. Emotions ran high as people leaned into every word, trying to piece together a timeline that suddenly felt much darker than anyone expected. Y'all remember when I said something felt off months ago? She continued, raising an eyebrow slightly, and everybody told me I was overthinking. She let out a small laugh, shaking her head. I wasn't I was being played, and that word landed hard. Played, because it carried everything with it. The manipulation, the denial, the quiet gaslighting that made her question her own instincts. And now she was reclaiming that narrative in front of thousands. I would ask simple questions, she explained. And somehow, I'd end up apologizing. And the chat instantly reacted, people typing things like that's manipulation and we've been there. Because suddenly, this wasn't just celebrity drama. It was relatable. It was real. It was something people recognized in their own lives. And that connection only made the situation more intense. And the whole time, Erica added, her voice lowering again, there was somebody else in the picture. She paused, letting that truth breathe for a second. Not new, not random, somebody who'd been there. And that revelation sent another wave through the audience. Because it suggested history, familiarity, something ongoing rather than sudden. And fans immediately started revisiting everything they thought they knew. Every appearance, every tagged photo, every subtle interaction that now felt like it meant something more. Y'all keep asking who she is, Erica continued, her gaze steady. But the real question is, how long she been around? And that line shifted the focus completely, turning curiosity into suspicion. Because now it wasn't just about identity. It was about duration, about overlap, about whether this relationship had been happening while she was still involved. And that possibility made everything messier, deeper, more painful. I gave chances, she admitted, her voice softening just slightly. More than I should have, she nodded slowly, almost to herself. Because I believed in what we built. And for a moment, the anger gave way to something more vulnerable, more reflective. A glimpse into the emotional investment that made this situation hurt as much as it did. But you can't build with somebody who already planning something else, she added, her tone sharpening again as the realization settled back in. And fans felt that shift, the balance between heartbreak and clarity, between what was lost and what was finally understood. And let's talk about the disrespect, she said suddenly, leaning forward again, her energy rising. Because it wasn't just the wedding. And instantly the comments lit up again, people sensing another layer about to unfold, another twist waiting to be revealed. It was the sneaking, she continued, the late nights that didn't make sense, the excuses that didn't add up. She shook her head. And me choosing to ignore it because I wanted peace. And that honesty hit differently, because it acknowledged something many people do, ignoring red flags in hopes that things will fix themselves. Peace built on lies ain't peace, she said firmly, it's just quiet chaos. And that line echoed in the chat, people repeating it, reacting to it, because it summed up everything she had been going through in a way that was both simple and powerful. And while I'm over here trying to keep things together, she continued, her voice steady but intense, you over there building something new? She tilted her head slightly, disbelief written all over her face. That's wild. And even through the screen, you could feel the mixture of hurt and anger that came with that realization. The sense of being replaced before things were even fully over. And then to make it worse, she added, her eyes narrowing, y'all really thought I wouldn't find out? And that question carried a different kind of energy. Not just pain but disbelief at the level of secrecy. The assumption that she would stay in the dark indefinitely. Nothing stays hidden forever, she said quietly, almost like a warning. Especially not when too many people know, and that line hinted at something bigger. Something involving more than just the two of them. A circle of people who may have been aware, who may have stayed silent. And that idea alone was enough to send fans into another spiral of speculation. Because, let's be real, Erica continued, sitting back slightly, her tone now more controlled again. This kind of thing don't happen without people covering for it, and just like that, the drama expanded beyond just a relationship, touching on friends, family, insiders, people who may have known and said nothing. And the family was left divided, not just in the story, but among the viewers as well. Some defending, some accusing, everyone trying to figure out who knew what and when. So yeah, she said, nodding slowly. I'm hurt. She didn't deny it, didn't hide it. But I'm not confused anymore, and that clarity marked a turning point. Because now it wasn't about questioning what happened. It was about understanding it, accepting it, even if it came with pain. And once you see it clearly, she added, you can't unsee it, and that line carried weight. The kind that signals a shift in perspective that can't be reversed. So while everybody else just now catching up, she said, looking directly into the camera again, I've been processing this, and that explained her composure. Her ability to speak with both emotion and control. Because this wasn't new to her, it was just new to everyone else. Today just made it public, she finished, and that distinction mattered. Because it separated the moment from the process, the revelation from the reality. And as the comments continued to pour in, as fans reacted, supported, questioned, and speculated, one thing became clear. This story wasn't over. Not even close. Because with every answer Erica gave, it only opened the door to more questions, more layers, more truths waiting to come out. And the deeper she went, the more it felt like this was only the beginning of something even bigger. And just when it feels like everything has finally been laid out, it somehow gets even messier. Because now the question isn't just about the marriage, it's about what happens next. Will Lil Scrappy finally break his silence and tell his side? Or will more secrets start slipping out from people who have been watching this unfold behind the scenes the entire time? And what about Erica Dixon? Is this the moment she completely walks away for good? Or is there still more she hasn't said yet? Fans are already divided. Some are saying Erica did exactly what needed to be done, while others think there's still another side to the story we haven't heard. But one thing is clear, this situation is far from over, and the tension is only building. So now I'm asking you, do you think this was betrayal, or just bad timing? Do you believe Scrappy had the right to move in silence? Or should Erica have been told from the start? And most importantly, who else do you think knew about this before it all went public? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now because this conversation is getting louder by the minute. And if you thought this was shocking, just wait until the next update because something tells me we're only seeing the beginning of this story unfold. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update.